Welcome back to A Corporate Time. So, Daniel, you told me about something this morning that you were mad because
I'm mad that I like this.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm mad that I actually am on board with this, and it's, damn it, I'm mad.
It has to do with getting old and performers realizing, like, you only have a certain amount of time left to perform because, it's, especially if you're in a rock band, it's difficult to get out there and rock in quotation marks when you're
you never
70s, 80s.
You just do it. Like the Rolling Stones are doing it, but they're doing the lean in a little bit that their tour is sponsored by AARP.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And
It's funny.
And they're doing it right in your face. They're like, it says, like,
You
it's the
have
Rolling
to.
Stones presented by AARP and Depends.
It's taking the power away.
It is.
Like, I saw Willie Nelson in Tampa and that 90, and essentially he walked out, sat
down,
on the hay bale, and then played
They
his
couldn't
concert.
give him a chair. Give the man a chair.
Probably softer with the hay.
or whatever it was.
Stinks.
I couldn't see what he was sitting on, but it looked
You
like
didn't have your glasses, did you?
No.
It could have been anybody up there. It could have been John Popper. Nobody knows.
But it didn't seem like a regular chair. It seemed like some sort of like
Handy wheelchair. It was a
decoration,
wheelchair.
like a crate or something. Anyway,
Great.
It's a wooden wheelchair. Remember when wheelchairs were wooden?
Oh, yeah.
That's terrifying.
but when they zoomed in on him, and I looked at the jumbo TV or whatever, he looked like he was struggling halfway through. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
He's
I'm
only
not,
good for about 12 minutes, I think, and then you got to put him back in his box.
again, he's 90,
Yeah,
and
that's
he's
what I'm saying.
he did it.
I'm not saying that to be rude. I'm saying
So-
he'll give you a solid 12 minutes, and then the rest of the time he's kind of confused, just like our president. Hey-o!
So, Kiss announced this thing. So tell me about it.
Okay, so, and I don't know all the particulars, so if you're a mega Kiss fan, you can correct me, but I'll give you the gist. The short of the long, from what I know, is they were having these series of 3 concerts at Madison Square Garden to commemorate the end. This is the End of the Road tour, Kiss's final concert. There were going to be 3. 1, 2. The third one is the final one. That's it. We're never taking the stage again.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the concert, and I watched the video shot from like a fan, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. It would have been cool to be there. This massive wave of like fog goes blowing out over the entire audience. And it goes out over the audience, and then because they're known for their stage show, the big screens for their stage shows, pyro starts shooting off and stuff like that, and they start playing this video of like, I think it's Paul Stanley basically telling you, like, thank you so much for everything you've done for us. We're nothing without the Kiss Army. You know, he's doing that.
Uh-huh.
And then he's like, because of you, we can be immortal. And then they show that they've partnered with like Industrial Light and Magic or Lucasfilms or somebody big. And they've created these Kiss avatars. They're no different than like a video game character. They look really cool. It's like Gene Simmons has like demon wings. He looks like real Satan. He's shooting flames out of his mouth.
Yeah.
The Star Child is like, every move of his guitar is like a laser beam shoots out of it. You know, the Peter Criss, the Catman, his drumsticks.
all the gimmicks,
like he's playing, like he's levitating in the sky, like playing drums. And then obviously you've got, who am I missing out? I got Star Child.
Gene Simmons.
Oh, no, that's the demon. Who am I
right.
missing?
The cat.
Catman? That's
I don't know any of them.
That's okay. So Peter is on drum. Oh no, I got Ace. Then you got Gino. Oh, then Paul Stanley's who I'm missing.
Okay.
Whatever he is, I forget what he is. Somebody in the chat room will know what Paul Stanley is.
So it's all their avatars.
Yes.
And apparently
They've become the Gorillas. Remember the Gorillas are like an
Yes.
animated band,
and then it shows them in the promotional video,
and they look like video game characters.
Basically, they're standing somewhere, on the side
The
stage or
Starman.
behind stage.
Thank you, Ghost, Starman or Space Child, the Star Child.
So essentially, Kiss is playing behind the stage, hidden.
They
but
could
with-
be. They could be. They don't have to be.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the brilliant part.
If they
So-
wanted to be live,
but it
I mean,
showed-
it literally could just be a movie they film and they put it up there, and then Kiss people, like fans, Kiss fans will pay to go there, pay the money, and sit and watch it. It would be no different than watching Death Clock. It's no different than watching the Gorillas. It's no different than watching. There are other bands, and Christine hit it in our chat room in like South Korea, in Japan. They've had virtual influencer or virtual music stars for decades.
Or the CGI.
Yeah.
But in this, it's not just like a CGI movie they put together. This is actual musicians playing with all those dots on them, like
Motion capture.
Motion capture
Yeah.
dots, and then the CGI characters are emulated their exact movement on screen.
Ghost from the chat room said they had a guy with an onk on his face once. Yes, they did. I remember the onk. No, the onk will not be making his way back.
So the question is,
No more onk.
how many times are
There was also a fox, apparently.
Yeah, there was a fox.
What the
Well,
hell
that's
is
after
Kiss?
that's after Peter, Chris, and why can't I think of their names?
Ace Frehley?
Thank you, good job. Ace Frehley and Peter Chris, basically, exited the band because of their, whether it was drugs or not being able to perform
They
anymore.
probably hated Gene Simmons.
and Paul.
I put my money on that.
Actually, Ace is cool with Gene. Ace says Paul is jealous of him. I read these articles in Blabbermouth,
Okay.
like for metal, and Ace did something very petty in that when they released this, Ace released his new single called 10,000 Volts, which is as generic as it comes. But he tried to, hey, I'm going to put it out when the Kiss thing happens so I can get more eyes on it.
So do you think that the actual members of Kiss are going to perform backstage
Once or twice.
once or twice, and then the
They can
rest
have
of the time
anybody do
they're
it.
just going to get other musicians to do it?
Well, this is what I was telling you that I think they're going to do. I think that they are going to tour as the animated band. I don't know when, but they will.
do it once.
They'll do once, and then I think the next, the next iteration of Kiss will be, hey, now we've given you the animated band with us. Now it's time to pass the torch, and now we truly will be immortal. And then, hell, they could have 5 different Kiss bands touring multiple cities. You could have Kiss playing the same night in Portland and playing in Orlando, right, on opposite ends of North America.
Yeah, like
you could
Blue
do
Man
that.
Group.
Yeah, well, you could franchise it out, really.
Yeah.
If you wanted to maximize it, you'd have a European Kiss, you'd have a North American Kiss,
Now
you'd have a Kiss Asia.
my question is, do you think then, if it's not even the members of Kiss, do you think they go back to just having musicians put on the face makeup and get rid of the CGI?
No, because I think the vocals will always be them.
Okay.
I think
well,
they
you
can-
could lip sync the vocals
You
over.
could,
You know what I'm saying?
could, but it would be better to use Gene's face and then have somebody else playing.
Because they want the actual the members to be
I
represented.
don't know. It gets
Yeah.
muddy towards the end of my theory, but I think that, and I like that. I actually like this idea. Not a huge fan of Kiss. Have always made fun of them, but this I'm like, this is pretty smart.
Well, it's a way,
And it looks good. The video did look. I'd love to crap on it. Remember the old Orlando City 3-headed lion, digital lion that they rolled out years ago? And it was the laughing stock of everything. The listeners hated it. The fans hated it. Orlando City hated it. I think Full Sail did it. They even hated it. Everybody hated it, right? This wasn't that. I wanted to hate this. I was like, oh, I see what they're going to do. They're
Yeah.
going to do a dumb video. Let me watch it. I watched it, and I'm like, damn. Not
Now-
bad. Not bad, Kiss.
for the Kiss fans, will the Kiss fans show up
Yes.
to see the
You
animated?
can't be unloyal. You're in an army, the Kiss Army. You
Yeah.
can't. You'll be court-martialed.
But what if they know that the people, even though it's like CGI and motion capture, that the people that are doing it are not even the members of the band?
You
Does that
still want to
matter?
be a part of it. You still want to be a part
Think
of it.
about this. People have different festivals that'll be like a Margaritaville festival, right? And they'll have people playing Jimmy Buffett songs, but it's not Jimmy Buffett, but
Yeah.
that place will
Can't
be
be now.
packed.
Well,
Certainly
tribute
Well,
bands,
right.
Tribute bands,
bands,
yeah.
cover bands.
I will.
yeah.
I will.
Ooh, digital Jimmy Buffett would be rad.
Badfish.
If Jimmy Buffett flew out with demon wings on, that'd be pretty rad.
I will tell you that I was with Daniel when we saw Badfish at House of Blues.
It was really
the
good.
Sublime
It,
They're always
band.
packed.
really good show.
It was 85% just as good as Sublime. You know what I'm saying? Only the fact that it wasn't the members of Sublime and Brad Lee
Yeah,
only made it 15% worse.
Yeah.
It was just all the songs
could
were the
make an
same.
argument.
I was singing along. I was Santeria.
You could make an argument too. You could
Yeah,
make an
I don't
argument
care.
that the guys from Badfish, because I think at that time all of them were super healthy and everything. You weren't going to get any hijinks. They were going to play every hit guaranteed.
Yeah.
Might be better. You could make an argument for there ain't going to be any they're late to the show, or anything like that. Because they're there to do the tribute. We do have a Kiss fan in our chat room, and it's SJ, and he's saying that it seems that within the fan base that it's a little split. It's like a 50-50.
Well, I mean, that's better.
I think it's pretty good.
It's your only, because at least they had the, self-recognition or
Intelligence
Awareness.
level.
awareness to understand that, we're too old to continue to do this. It's going to become sad.
Yeah,
right?
you might as well try this, right?
Yeah, one of us is gonna faint, and we're gonna be made fun of on the internet, or like our old man pants are gonna fall off our frog ass, or like you just can't. you don't have the ability, the physical ability to get up there and put on a good show anymore. Because how old is Kiss? Like all the members, they're
Gene 74.
yeah. I mean,
But Ozzy's still out there.
Yeah, but I think he says one more. I think he says one more show. I don't think he's performing right now. I think he's claiming that all I want to do is one more.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if he's there. I think Kiss, most of them are in really good health. The two guys that are filling in for Ace and Peter are in really good shape because they're like 20 years younger, I believe, than Gene and Paul. But I liked it. It's not my thing, but if there were digital Tom and Dan, and if we could have guys that would come in here and let's say that AI got so good that we've broadcast so much that you and I could just put our essence inside a computer and have it churn out some stuff. It would be kind of nice to take a Tuesday off. You know what I mean? And just have, we'll just have the avatars handle it.
The thing is, when you're a band like Kiss and it's such a stage show and there's the fire and the dress and the
But
whole
they did
thing.
that. When the Demon first came out,
Yeah.
they had it programmed so when he like flapped his wings, that there was stuff like blowing up in the stadium.
What I'm saying is they're set up to
right.
do this where
we're
it's
not.
like, because like other than, I mean, what does it matter that it's not Gene Simmons singing and it's digital Gene
I think
Simmons?
it will be. I think it will
like,
be Gene Simmons until they decide to go like, hey, this is the new Monkees. This is the new band.
Yeah.
I think they'll keep the vocals them. Because that is something that sort of...
And then what? Just stand behind stage?
No. It'll be tracks, or they'll have musicians playing live on the stage, but they won't... It'll be, like, voiced up.
But, yeah, I think they'll start with the motion capture, and they're not going to bother putting on the makeup and doing the stuff. And then, they can't... although, if with motion capture... They're kind of still moving the same. So I wonder, like, this may be just a transition into a Blue Man Group type of scenario, but this is the only transition that they could think of that would be
or maybe I'm way off.
easiest.
Maybe they just did it for the video, and they're like, hey, and then we're done.
Because think about, like, what's the difference as far as if you're getting too old to perform, like, if you're still performing with the motion capture, like, it's still just as much work. Like, you're still having to stand and, like,
well, it is and
rock
it
out.
isn't, because, like, you can have the guy flying all around and shooting flames, and it's really just your facial expressions.
I
You
guess.
see what I'm saying? And you see that in the video that I played you guys. You see the guys, like, they're playing, and then the avatar's flying around being wild.
Okay,
and it's just their face.
They could probably essentially just sit down.
Yeah.
But they had the motion capture balls all over the body, too.
Well, they're
So
also
they-
not going to put it just on their face. And
Yeah,
be like,
I guess you're right.
Why is it just on their face? Because they're dumb and old.
They can't move anymore.
They can't move anymore.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
you seen
Yeah,
Gene Simmons walk in the boots?
No.
Well, you can see it right before that, the wave of fog, and they started playing the cartoon or the digital animation of the avatars. You see him, like, his platform goes down. I mean, his boots are 2.5 feet tall, and he's like, what? What's he weigh, 300 pounds? He's like 6'2".
He's a big boy.
He's a big guy. So, like, he's not moving good.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if I know how I hurt. He's got to hurt.
It leads to a broader question. I'm curious in what you think about this, Sam, because you have gone to a lot of concerts and enjoy live music.
Yeah.
So how much – okay, so if you like a band, right, and I know the lead singer and the front man is probably a huge, huge part of it, but, like, let's say what's your favorite band, Sam, or a band you like seeing live?
Most recently, like Flip Turns. Good.
Okay, let's say Flip Turn, and the drummer and the lead guitarist left the band.
Dude, I've had plenty of bands that have rotated members out.
Does it matter?
A lot of them do. No.
All right. See, but, I mean, it really. So besides from the front man, even the front man, how much does that matter?
It really depends. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's case by case because
It
it
is
mattered
case
to me. I saw Red Hot Chili Peppers when they no longer had, for a hot second, John Frusciante.
Okay.
And I was pissed about that.
Okay, then that mattered.
It did matter to me.
Depends on the personality,
Yeah,
right?
but it also depends on how important you think they are to the band. And I think in Kiss, they've already determined, and we know, that the only two people that were ever needed for that band are Paul and Gene.
Yeah.
That's it.
And because they're wearing makeup and are essentially characters on stage, it's set up for Blue Man Group
It
because
works better.
who cares who it is?
Yeah,
right?
it's also fantasy. Like, their characters are fantasy, so the star child can fly to the stars. And
I mean,
the
it's
demon
been done. Like Journey, they replaced their singer, and he had a really particular voice,
He's
and
still-
they were successful.
I think he's still with them, and I think at this point there's like a fun fact where he's like been with Journey longer than the original Journey.
That's true, yeah.
Like a band like Slipknot could do this tomorrow.
sure.
They're
because
already
of their
doing it.
mask.
They're firing their drummers like crazy. Yeah, those guys are.
Just wear this ghoul mask. It doesn't matter who they're.
Ghost does it.
Yeah, does Ghost do it?
Oh
Yeah, they've been through a lot.
Ghost has players that are suing Tobias Forge, who's the lead singer of Ghost. He's getting sued because they're saying they didn't get paid out because there was a certain level of anonymity and he didn't pay them outright. And he's claiming, no, this was all me. You were hired guns. You knew it.
Yeah.
And I wrote everything. You were just hired to play it.
Yeah,
so you're
yeah.
not Ghost. I'm Ghost.
So I'm reading this article about it, and it says the Pop House CEO says, we're going to figure out after the tour what we're going to do with them. Is it a Kiss concert in the future? Is it a rock opera? Is it a musical, a story, an adventure?
Oh, they're leaving everything
Yeah.
all open. Yeah, because they're gonna
they don't know.
they're gonna see. Their best case scenario is that like people they sell it out and people love the avatars and they don't care. And then it's a win-win. And then Gene Simmons sits back and rides off into the sunset and collects
digitally
and then,
rides off,
and then
flies away, shooting fire out of his demon mouth.
And then how long? Okay, here's a good question. How long could the Kiss brand continue to make money if this does work?
Well, merchandising itself will make money, I think, forever.
Yeah.
Because they're one of those bands
It's
that people
forever.
are going to buy the shirts no matter
Yeah.
what.
It's
Even if
like-
they don't listen to Kiss.
It's
because
like
it's one of those
Elvis.
bands.
Elvis will be forever.
It just
'cause-
becomes the brand.
Like Johnny
it's
Cash.
a style now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Kiss is
Even
to
when
a-
all
Nirvana, Megadeth.
every original fan's dead.
Yeah.
They'll still live
I see
on.
kids wearing Kiss shirts that are like retro, like roughed
And they
up
won't
Kiss
even know
shirts.
who the band is.
Yeah, they don't know who it
Yeah.
is.
And that merchandise, but that won't be too much. Like, for instance, what's the like a lot of the Hot Topic bands?
I wouldn't know. I haven't been in there in
Well,
years.
Now it's mostly anime.
Wednesday Addams.
Misfits.
Sure,
everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah,
Misfit shirts. We've talked to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
lead singer before about like how
Jerry Only. And
Jerry Only, how popular the Misfits brand
He's the
became.
bass player.
People wear the Misfits shirts just because of it's kind of like
The branding of it.
It's a way to let other people know, like, hey, I don't listen to regular radio. I listen to the Misfits, or maybe I want you to think I do.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
lifestyle.
I want you
or
to
something,
think
yeah.
that I am like edgier, and that's why I'm wearing this Misfit shirt instead of like wearing a Luther
I don't think it's
Vandross
like
shirt.
that for everyone, though.
No,
because
it's not.
People wear Ramones shirts, Misfits shirts, Johnny Cash shirts, and they don't necessarily listen to it.
Yeah.
It's literally just like a brand
Like
to
a
them.
style.
Yeah.
And then how
Sublime did that
how
too.
much
Yeah,
money
Sublime,
is that making?
Nirvana.
Millions a year in merchandise?
Billions.
Probably.
Probably billions, dude.
Really, that much? Yeah.
I mean, it's
Even
like
now?
You go to
textiles.
go to Target
It's
and
all
go to their
Nirvana.
T-shirt section. It's all like old band merch.
It is all pop culture. Like
Yeah,
if
it's
you
pop
went
culture
there, I
now.
guarantee you'd know every band. You won't at a Hot Topic, but you will if you go to Old
At
Navy or
Target, yeah.
Walmart and you look at like what their shirts are. It's literally throwing a dart at Joe Average.
I
And
wonder-
it's
Yeah.
every band.
Did some company not buy the rights like they bought the brand, but like make a deal with whoever owns
Yes.
the rights? Like, is it Courtney Love who owns the rights to Nirvana? The other band members?
I think there's a few of them.
Yeah, I
like
think they were fighting over
it's
it for a while.
Yeah, it's a group.
Love,
whatever.
Novoselic, Grohl.
But is that like so the Nirvana T-shirts in like Walmarts, let's say around the country, like someone made a deal with them and then give them a share
It
of
makes me
something,
think
right?
the numbers too like disgusting amounts of money. Like the one yellow on black Nirvana iconic shirt logo sold in how many Walmarts?
Yeah,
how
I don't
many
know.
shirts are made? So I'm gonna guess.
I don't know.
You printed 300,000 of those shirts.
Brock in the chat says the Nirvana
150,000?
shirts are the top-selling band T-shirts at Target.
Really?
I bet it's
Is there any like how much money has Nirvana made off their shirt?
how much the brand
Or
is worth. There
merch.
used to be a site that would tell you like
Yeah.
it would try to give you a number on a brand. I wonder if like, but people don't think it's like Nirvana is like a brand, but it is.
Right.
Oh,
it
of
is.
course,
It
yeah.
is.
It's especially how infamous it
Oh
is.
my
and,
God,
like,
that black
marks
with
an
yellow
era.
writing
Yeah.
shirt. I see kids in Baldwin. I'll probably see a kid a week wearing that shirt,
yeah,
or the
it's-
smiley face one.
Yeah,
one
yeah,
a
yeah.
week. One a week.
The Kurt Cobain's empire is worth $450 million.
Wow.
And that's just his part of it. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. And
That's not all of it.
although, did he have full? Because it was he started the band, so I wonder. But I'm sure the
I
rest
think
of the
Dave Grohl's.
It says when Nirvana singer
I don't know.
and lead songwriter Kurt Cobain died in 1994. That's another thing. If you're a songwriter, you're getting most of the stuff. His widow, rocker Courtney Love, became the primary beneficiary of his estate, which includes more than 98% of the band's publishing rights.
Wow, I never knew that.
Band members Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl were left with the part of the remainder.
wow 2%. They must have been mad when Courtney Love got everything.
Oh, yeah,
right?
they hated her.
98% of
What's
the
a-
catalog.
What's old Love been up to?
Haven't seen her.
She's been off the radar, right?
You know what always always
seen-
bothered me about her? She's a good actress.
Yeah, she is.
I see, like, with the daughter,
She's
is
good.
it Frances Bean?
Yeah, she
she's
just got
beautiful.
married.
Yeah, married Tony Hawk's son.
Yeah, that's what's
pretty
the
cool.
chances of that? Like,
I'm sure they all run in the same circles. All those celebrity kids go to school together.
Yeah, it's incestuous because it's like Courtney Love
Those
and
are your
Tony
peers,
Hawk.
right?
Yeah, I mean, those are like they're on the same level. You
Yeah.
know?
Wait, it's like
Mega famous.
two famous people that are not famous for anything other than being the daughter and son of someone famous.
Yeah.
Because Tony Hawk's son is not like professional skateboarder or anything. He probably knows how to skateboard, but he hasn't made a name for himself.
I
right?
kind of wanted him. I didn't look him
Frances
up or anything.
Bean hasn't
She's a
done-
model.
Yeah,
just a
she's
model.
pretty. I didn't look up his son or anything, but I kind of wanted secretly in my Daniel brain for him to hate skateboarding.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
It's better that way.
Yeah, it is better that way. Like because if he's like really good and like close to being as good as his dad, and he's like, yeah, I can do a McTwist or what, and then I'd be like, I don't like that. I'd like it better if he's like, skateboarding fucking sucks.
Like he can't even ollie.
Oh, he can't stand it. I'd like it if he like it
Like, he
literally.
couldn't even ride a skateboard.
It literally paid for his everything as a child, and he resents it. He resents.
Look up if Tony Hawk's son is there a video of him skating at all? I'm sure when he grew up he was skating on ramps in his
He
yard.
is a skateboarder.
Oh,
okay,
Christ!
right, right.
Serious dad. Serious
Damn
dad
it.
question. Serious
We
dad
should look
question.
these things up before we start.
Serious dad question.
Yeah.
Like, was there ever a chance that does he have any of his kids that aren't into skateboarding? Or when you get to that level, is that an impossibility? Like, can Tiger Woods have a son or daughter
No.
that hates golf? Or is that, I'm sorry,
He
you're too far.
indoctrinated them.
Right, you're too
Yeah.
far. I'm glad you said it right.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying it right. Because I didn't want to get the emails anymore.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all over Reddit.
So,
Indoctored.
His other son is a musician. And so two of his sons are skateboarders.
Wait, he's got a musician?
Yeah.
See, I
Cool.
like the Chet Hanks of the world.
Yeah!
Where you look
Tom Hanks is one
full
son, backwards hat, yelling the N-word.
yeah,
Chet.
full
White boy summer.
full tattooed his entire body, like doesn't look like
You're on human
dad
growth
at all.
hormone, backwards
Yeah.
hat, yelling the N-word in your rap songs.
I like it when it's a complete opposite. Like, because I know that it makes him sad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a little disappointed, right? That he didn't, because his other son is an actor. Like it fits the narrative of this is what your son should
He's
be.
doing buddy comedies with Jack Black.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like-
And then it's like, all right,
yeah, this is pretty good. Then
Yeah.
you got this one guy going on podcast unfiltered, yelling horrible things, talking about White Boy Summer and speaking in a blatantly appropriated Jamaican accent, saying "boomba clot."
That's funny. Yeah. That's funny that Tom Hanks' son
Boomba clot.
is saying Boomba clot.
And it's crazy because you look at him, and if you squint your eyes, you're like, "Is that Tom Hanks?" A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
This is a joke, right? Anyway.
Oh Christ.
Also, what else did we want to talk about?
The house explosion?
Yes.
Yes.
So Sam is paranoid and
thank
conspiracy theorist. Even though this is part of your character, but it's real.
100% real.
And she told me about this house that exploded near DC.
Is it true you put your oven on the curb? Like you're giving up cooking? Like you're like, I'm out.
What?
No, I'm just making a joke that you saw the house explode. You're like, I'm getting rid of all my appliances.
No.
Well, this wasn't a gas leak.
No.
This
was something different.
So apparently, and Sam, tell everybody this story.
So it's this article's from NBC News. It says a massive explosion engulfed a home and rocked a neighborhood in Arlington, Virginia, as police were investigating a man who fired flare guns dozens of times from inside Monday night. No serious injuries were suffered by police, though a fate of the suspect who was inside the home when it exploded was not immediately clear. So it says that the cops showed up because there was somebody shooting flare guns into the streets, and then the cops showed up in an armored vehicle. And then whoever was inside this house started shooting real guns out at the cops. And then as they tried to get out of the armored vehicle to serve the warrant, the house exploded. And it wasn't just a mild explosion.
Yeah, it was like a movie
Yeah,
explosion.
it looked like it was a movie.
Oh, here it is. I got a little video of it from the.
Watch how big the explosion is.
That house stood in Arlington on North Burlington Street.
Like,
it's a residential road just a few blocks.
I don't even know
off
how
of
something
I-66.
explodes like that. It looked like a gas explosion.
There had to be like real bombs in
It
there,
was
right?
such an explosion, though. I like it when
Blew
something
the roof
really
off.
explodes. It explodes so fast it looks slow.
Yeah. Now, I didn't know that he was shooting off flare guns because at first when you told me this,
I read that later today, yeah.
Because that
Well, that answers my question I asked 2 weeks ago on the Friday Free Show. I was talking about like
What?
flare guns and if they're dangerous or not, and if people really shoot them. Because I've only seen a flare gun. I've never seen somebody use one.
Well,
I don't even think they work.
this just sounds like a crazy person that
How
that
far
was
will a flare gun shoot?
Like a couple hundred feet, not too far. I don't.
How
think
come
so.
people aren't shooting them like just for fun during the? Do people do that?
Remember, we talked about this. There were people that have felonies or whatever can't
Yeah.
legally possess
Oh,
a
they'll buy
firearm.
flare
They'll buy
guns.
flare
Yeah,
guns
yeah.
as like a
Oh,
workaround
look
just
at
to
you.
have a
Mr.
gun.
Felony's got his flare gun.
But at first, when you told me this, I was like, well, this sounds like someone blowing all the evidence up because like the
It
police
still
were
sounds
gonna-
like that to me.
Yeah. But the fact that he was drawing attention to himself and shooting flare guns and stuff, and then the cops came and then blew himself up, it's like a little less conspiracy because at first I was like, oh, there's like some group of terrorists or some sort of internal, like some, plot to do something, and then the police found them and then they blew up all the
Yeah.
evidence. But
Could it be like a meth lab?
I don't
Could
think
be,
I don't
but-
think meth labs explode like that. I think
But
they
they do
burn.
blow
It
up,
seemed a
right?
little, it seemed a little more violent than a meth lab blow up. But
Yeah. Like purposefully booby trapped to blow up the house, and all the evidence inside. Even when you do have like an explosion like that, it doesn't vaporize everything. I mean, they'll be able to see what's in there.
It's funny. It says this lady, one of the neighbors, says. Then we fell back. My husband and I fell backwards, and it knocked down a couple of windows. It makes me laugh when anybody, big or small, falls backwards on their back and then rolls back and then rolls forward again. I laugh because it's kind of funny.
There was I think my next door neighbor in Deltona was cooking meth because one day, the police came.
What was your
Well,
what was your tip?
They one day like a bunch of workers came and then started like bringing out like gutting the kitchen and the inside, and it was all burned up countertops, like there had been fire in there, but there was never any like fire truck.
He didn't come out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the fire truck never came and
Did
started
he
like
offer an
fighting a
excuse?
fire.
Did you see was he like the old lady could burn water? I tell
No.
you, like he
you
wasn't.
don't ask questions in Deltona.
Okay. All right. Deltona Kona.
Yeah. I remember my next door neighbor across the street. Like that was when. Remember,
I never met any of your Deltona neighbors. I was always afraid.
The one lady that she used to mow my yard at night.
Yeah, she's cracked out. Right?
Yeah.
She'd be on a bender and she'd be like, "Let me mow your grass.
Yeah.
I need something to do."
And then she'd just come over and like she'd hit me up with her money every once in a while. And
I'm surprised you didn't try to at least get a like an old pool shed jibber, like. Why not?
I remember when the Volusia County SWAT team or drug enforcement, they came with like the whole full SWAT and then kicked the door down or whatever. Then they started bringing out people. This is when my brother was living with me, and he was sending me pictures on his cell phone of them lining up people and like sitting them on the curb.
My God.
But there was a bunch of people living in there that I didn't even never saw.
You know where they do that move where you can't run? They do that move where they're like, cross your legs. All right, sit on the curb. Cross your legs, sit on the curb.
And then they started living because then eventually they bailed out or whatever, and then
Do they go back to try and get their stash?
They went back to living in there, but there was no electricity and
Wasn't
no
there
water.
at one point there was no door on it?
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
So it was just like a
they just
open floor plan.
Well, they did. They knocked the door down with the old
whoopie-doo, whatever that thing is. Yeah, battering ram.
Yeah, the battering ram. And then, so when the door was already knocked down, they just kind of placed the door in the front of it. They're like, well, no one's gonna, come in here because
just knock so it doesn't fall over.
And they lived like that for a long time with no electricity, no water, and I was amazed by it.
It's like the better version of Naked and Afraid, right? It's like, but it's like in Deltona in a house.
And then that lady,
wonder what she's doing now. Dead?
Yeah. But the most surprising thing in my entire life, still
I
to
love
this
this
day,
story. This is almost like a Christmas miracle.
where
It's like a Hallmark movie.
She came over one day and then did the whole roundabout asking for money and was like, hey, get $20, I'll pay you back.
Did it even cross your mind for a pool shed gibber? Like a little bit.
No.
Handy?
I mean, it was rough. And so I gave her $20, which Crystal yelled at me. She's like, this now
You're
she's
feeding
gonna
the pigeons.
And then 2 weeks later, she came back, knocked on the door, and she's like, "Here's your $20 back."
Wow.
And I was like,
wow.
I was like, I would have bet my life.
Did
I
you
would
tell
never
Crystal? Did you go like in your face?
Did that give you faith in humanity?
No.
Oh.
I was like, this has to be. I don't know.
It's a trap. It's a trick.
I'm still mad.
Was it a real 20?
No, it was.
She forgot. It was the same 20. She forgot about it, found it again, and said, "I better give it back to him before he spends
I was almost mad that she did it. Like, I was like, why did you pay me back?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It does still haunt you. You mention it about once every year.
Like we saw you with to get your door knocked down by Volusia County SWAT team. You've been living with no electricity. Like, how could you pay me back?
Yeah.
Like, no one expects this. For sure.
And where did you get the 20?
I mean, who knows?
Back then, he had cash on him.
Yeah. But also,
that means she was giving out gibbers. I'll tell you. I'll tell you that. You could have paid yourself back.
How did she pay me back? Why did she pay me back? She was she didn't have to do it.
She was an honest woman.
She wasn't.
She was a horrible drug addict.
Yeah. Like, I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's just.
Hopefully, she's not listening.
Yeah, well,
hopefully she is, because that means she's alive, which is unlikely.
Based
on how many years it's been.
Yeah.
It's been 13 years, and it was rough 13 years ago. But sometimes,
no, they never. They never pull themselves out of it.
No, but even if you don't pull yourself out of it, somehow you still survive. Like 25 years.
Well, you become it.
Like,
adapt.
What's the oldest crackhead to ever
Let's do a
live?
contest.
I don't know if I can Google that on the internet.
Hold on. You
Look up the
can.
oldest crackhead.
Let's do that. This is like Howard Stern style. Let's do an
Or
oldest
meth,
crackhead.
or meth head.
Let's do an oldest meth head competition.
What's the drug that does the most damage?
Meth.
Is meth, right?
Gotta be
like
meth.
Faces of meth and all that. Like, what's the person that's done? Has there been a person that's done meth for 50 years?
Little bits
There's
of
an
meth?
article called "The 10 Most Accomplished Crackheads."
Who wrote that?
Complex magazine.
Well, what's top 3? I want to.
Let's see.
I was listening.
Well, this is
Coolio. Well, he's number 10. He's number 10.
I was listening to it. This ties in. I was listening to Bushwick Bill, the rapper, talk this morning about how he lost his eye.
Okay.
And it's because he smoked marijuana that was laced with, like, PCP.
Okay.
And he thought the only way for him to save his mom was to get her to shoot him and kill him so he'd go to heaven and she'd get paid out. So he provoked her, handed her a gun, and she blew his eyes out. Then he like came and was like talking to her, and she ran away. It's a horrifying story. But look up the story of Bushwick Bill. But it ties in.
Like, I want to find the person that's lived the hardest and poisoned themselves the most and is still alive. Because sometimes that happens. Like a lot of times if you don't OD, like somehow because you just had good genetics and like whatever, like you could do meth for 25 years, like hardcore, and live on the streets and like horrible diet and
like the golden voiced bum. Remember that guy?
Yeah, but
he didn't look that bad, but apparently it was pretty rough. He'd been doing it for a minute.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm talking about like lived so poorly for an insane amount of time and are still alive. Like there has to be a lot of people out there because you've seen like, you know, crazy alcoholics that have outlived what anybody thought they.
I know plenty of those that are friends of mine that just continue to drink and lots of drinks.
And I'm sure there's some homeless people that people have kept track of that have lived on the streets and did drugs and alcohol for 25 years and like lived horribly unhealthy lifestyles, but are still alive. You know, just because they have good genetics, it doesn't matter how much you poison. Look at Ric Flair. Like Ric Flair has done horrible things to his body.
He's a good example because he does seem to be. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's in great shape, and I know he's had some health issues.
Though.
Yeah, but he's still. And he works a lot.
Like he just wrestled the other day.
Yeah,
and he lived through it.
He's in AEW. He is wrestling. He's showing up at concerts. He'll be backstage at Post Malone, and then the next night he'll be backstage at the Lightning hockey match.
In his like documentary that I watched, which everybody should watch.
I can't bring myself to watch it because I think it's going to make me sad.
No,
because I like the surface Ric Flair. I don't want to learn how horrible he is.
Yeah, but no, he's not that horrible. He was a horrible dad.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that.
You know, and like he had horrible things happen to his family. Because
I could look into his eyes and tell that there's some horribleness in there.
There's some sadness, but the way he lived and like how he describes, like he used to drink like 16 to 25 drinks a day every day, and like he'd work out, do steroids, wrestle.
Yeah.
You know, like he told his doctor he'd drink like 15 cocktails and then like a 12-pack of beer and he'd do that every day. Like just so poor. Like I'm sure his diet never ate vegetables.
I don't know what he eats.
Yeah, and like
I've never seen the guy eat.
The amount of stress he's put on his heart and still alive.
But he's still big. He's still a pretty big dude. What's he look like wrestling now? Is he real melty?
Yeah.
He's had a lot of open heart surgeries, right?
Yeah,
like getting all scarred up and red.
Yeah, but I think a lot of those wrestlers and even workout guys, if you worked out that hard, especially like the unhealthy way where you're doing steroids or like in your testosterone's 3,500 back when, you know what I'm saying? Those guys a lot have a heart valve replacements and stuff.
Sure.
But after they get that, then they're like, fine.
Yeah,
like,
Arnold got it done.
Even, Arnold, Mark Marrow had one, you know, because like, I think, it's not natural to be that muscular for that long and to work out that much. You know what I'm saying? Like being fit and healthy is different than bodybuilding for 30 years,
without a doubt. Yeah.
Especially unhealthy bodybuilding where you're pushing your body to the limit and you're carrying like 30 pounds of extra muscle, like your heart gets big and, and then your valves start, deteriorating.
I don't like the fact that I have valves. I don't want to tell people that.
It's always
keep that to myself.
They could put a pig valve in there.
I know. I don't want a pig valve.
That's weird.
I don't want a pig valve.
That's weird.
You can put a different animal.
I think it would be more like a monkey, right? Because they say we're closer to a monkey.
Yeah.
I don't need a pig valve
because
that'll make me one step closer to a real pig.
I think it's readily available. Like it's more easier to get a pig valve than a monkey valve.
Yeah, monkeys will fight you for their valve.
And maybe
you can bleed a pig out.
And it's the same. I think it's closer.
Morally looked upon different because people eat pigs, but like you're not really like eating gorilla.
What's weird is that
I would eat a gorilla.
Would you?
Yeah,
I
would eat any
muscular. Tough.
I would literally eat any food except for a human being. I don't really want to eat a human being, but I will eat any other like animal. Name something and I'll tell you. I think I could eat any animal. I can't name one thing that I don't want to eat.
But if someone told you what animal it was,
this is
like
hippo's
cat,
cheeks.
What about dogs? Like
or rats.
Domesticated dogs, or are these dogs raised to be eaten?
Well,
because I can eat a dog. I can eat a cat. If it's raised to be eaten, I can eat it. But if it's somebody's pet and I'm like, I just cooked your Bichon Frise, I'm like, I can't eat that.
But it's the same whether it's a street cat or a domesticated cat.
Cat. No, once it's been selected,
okay,
it's a higher level.
That's an emotional thing.
Yeah.
It's just like
all emotion all the time. That's
all right,
how I live my life.
I like that.
I cry every night when I go to bed. Every single night. And you know why I cry? Because I'm writing down in my gratitude journal. I just get so worked up with the things that I love that I start crying.
What about a gorilla? Could you eat a gorilla?
Totally.
That's what he said.
I
Yeah.
totally.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would
And
start
I
with
said it's too tough,
Sorry.
muscular.
No, you start with the butt cheeks of the gorilla, but you got to soak it for a while. So what I would do is I'd cut the cheeks off, and then I'd probably put it in some mojo and soak it for about 3 days, brine it real good, and then I think I'd pan-sear it and then finish it in the oven at 400 degrees.
Parrot? Will you eat a parrot?
I'm gonna eat a parrot or pair the
No,
gorilla
no,
ass.
no,
with it.
no,
I was gonna
eat it.
pair it. I was gonna pair it with some red
No,
potatoes.
would you
but-
eat an actual parrot bird?
but faster than any other animal because I hate birds.
What about a flamingo?
Okay, I'm glad you brought it up.
We brought that
again.
up again.
Sam, write that down. I'm gonna try to figure out a way for us to try flamingo live on the air.
It is illegal to eat in the United States. but
Nah, so Sean Wasson can get us up.
yeah, for sure.
Somebody message Sean Wasson and see if the News Junkie wants to partner with us for the first ever Tom and Dan and the News Junkie Flamingo Challenge, where we all come in here and we eat the highly illegal flamingo.
Is it illegal if you order it from a different country?
I don't think it's illegal if you order it from somebody who mainly packaged and butchered the flamingo.
Well, I think it's illegal to butcher flamingos because they're protected, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also illegal to smoke marijuana, and I got a license. So
Yeah.
next, that's what I say. There's always loopholes, right? If eating flamingo is a federal crime, we just got to get a license for it in Florida, and then we're good to go. Because that's what I have right now. Medical marijuana isn't legal federally, but I have a license in Florida.
A while back, the
We just need DeSantis to tell us it's okay with sticking his tongue out weird.
a radio client told me he went to Cuba and ate manatee.
We got to go to
Yes.
Iraq, apparently, for it to not be illegal.
They eat flamingo in Iraq.
Oh, yeah.
It says poaching flamingos is not illegal in Iraq, and poverty could be a part of what's driven the increased eating of the fowl.
I like how eating
There's
flamingo
nothing-
is not illegal.
It's the most well-known location for flamingo fillets.
It's the Middle East.
Yeah.
There's something very un-American about that. Right? Like it seems like,
But if you're-
that's gonna make people angry. I feel like.
Iraq's like no flamingo, but if you can eat flamingo, but if you're a woman, no driving, nothing else. You can't do nothing.
Flamingos can drive though. I don't know if you know that. They can.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
They said the ancient Romans used to eat flamingo tongue because it was a delicacy.
dick hard.
It was like a delicacy.
Make your dick. People are so horny. They were like, eat that flamingo's tongue. I'll make your dick hard.
Yeah, flamingo tongues.
Yuck.
It
Where's
looks
this
gross.
go?
That is Wednesday 3 and 4.
Do we have anything for Wednesday?
No.
That was funny. So we got.
15 minutes until Peter.
But we're done on Twitch, right?
Yeah, we're done.
All right, guys. Excuse me. That was gross.
All right, Twitch, we'll